We didn't know until we did our homework that they both have a passion for singing opera. First, Dom DeLuise, and then coming up a little later, Paul Sorvino tonight. Okay, Dom DeLuise, welcome to the show.
Oh, it's wonderful to be here. You know, I have to tell you that I'm really thrilled because outside it's hot, sticky weather in New York, and here we are cool. So Paul and I can take in all this wonderfully clean, cool air, breathe it into our lungs, and sing. We've been singing.
I know you have. I'm gonna have you do that a little later. What are you drinking?
This is a little bit of orange juice and mostly water because I don't like just all that juice.
The astronauts got to the moon on that stuff.
Did they? Well, I'm going to go to 51st Street later.
I met you first in the very early 60s at the Mike Douglas Show in Cleveland, Ohio.
Yes.
You had worked at the Cleveland Playhouse.
Yes, I was at the Cleveland Playhouse, which was a thrill for me because I had a chance to pick up furniture that somebody would look at and say, no, bring it back, and then I brought it back. So I was very healthy.
You were a stagehand.
I was a stagehand, and I was also in the show. I mean, I was the actor who was in Hamlet. I was in, I was in School for Scandal with Snuff and, doing all kinds of stuff. It was wonderful. Starlight 17.
Were you technically trained as an actor to be a serious actor, or did you just...
I was technically trained, but when I did serious acting, even if I said, no, you can't, they laughed. I mean, no matter what, if I did my serious work, they always said, oh, God. But it's so funny, I said, no, okay, if you're going to laugh, then that's what I'll do. Sid Lumet was a teacher and in the High School of Performing Arts, right. And he actually said to me, you have a flair for comedy, so don't ignore that. You just, go with it. So now that I'm older, my voice is a little lower and I'm, my skin is hanging and I have facial hair and, so now I can do more serious roles. But I never approached my comedy with a silliness. I always approached it as if it was...
Very serious.
Yeah, I cried thinking about my own child being hurt, but I was crying about ice cream. Somebody took my ice cream cone. But I mean, the way I got to it was all, with the right kind of, I thought, thinking, If you see a show that I did, excuse me for interrupting you, Fatso, it's a comedy, but there's a lot of serious stuff that I do there. So I think of myself as an actor with a flair for comedy, kind of like that.
Were you heavy as a child?
I was always round. The one time somebody gave me when I was about 18 years old at the Cleveland Playhouse, they gave me some Benzedrine, something not good for you. And I took one Benzedrine every day, and I got down to 180. Ooh, and my waist was 34. Well, I looked great. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then my weight went up and down, up and down. But I always slanted on the Buddy Hackett side.
Now, they say that comedy comes from tragedy. Is that true, or is that a cliche, that you had a tough childhood?
Yeah. No. Well, you don't think of it as being tough. We used to have stew. There wasn't any meat in it. It was just vegetables. And I went to somebody's house one day and they had vegetables and meat. I said, you got meat? You know what I mean? We were poor.
You wanted to move.
Yeah. My father yelled and screamed. This is my father. I'm going to raise my voice. I don't see nothing like this my whole life. That was my father talking at home. That was Christmas Eve. That was just us at home. So there was a guy who yelled and screamed and scared the living bananas out of me. It was my father. I didn't know you could even say...
Didn't he pick you up and hold you until you say I love
maybe
you?
to shake me loose one time, but I mean...
Did he say I love you? Did he ever say I love you?
Never. In all the time that
Your father never told you he loved you?
No, what
What'd your
you ask
mother?
that question? My mother said it all the time. She said it too much. I said, Ma, I know, I heard. I got it, And she would always bring you something, have a cookie. Or, she'd take marshmallows and melt them, and then she'd put Rice Krispies in and make a kind of a thing like this you could, just eat in case on the way to bed you felt a little hungry. My father never did say, did your father ever say the words, I love you?
Yeah, actually he did, but not until much, much later. I mean, almost near death we had a moment. But up until then, there was a time, that was the time in the 40s and the 50s.
I guess it wasn't fashionable. Yeah. Remember, my father couldn't speak English. Well, he had a broken accent.
What did he do for a living?
He was a garbage man. My father got the finest garbage and took it to the dump. And then, in fact, I'm still in my blood. I have a Mercedes, right? I go along, and if I see a lamp driving, I go, oh, a lamp! You know what I mean? I can put wire, I can fix that lamp. I am attracted to repairing furniture, Julianne Griffin, Merv Griffin's wife, is a friend of mine. She brought over a whole bunch of sticks one time, and I said, "Oh, you want me to fix it for you?" She said, "No, it's
You
it's
fix
for
it with carpentry, or you fix it with glue, or what do you
glue, carpentry, just like that."
Our producer,
Yeah.
Chuck Rosenberg, says this is his wife's, and I heard he said you fix
Oh,
things. So
yeah.
maybe in the next commercial break, we'd like you to try to fix this, and we'll see if it actually works. If you're any good at it.
I'm very good at this. I can help you out. All right, I know just where to put this. Yeah. So this is great. You know, the interesting thing about that, I think it's very comforting. If I'm doing a show and I'm rehearsing, I'm going to open Thursday.
Yeah.
Usually on Thursday they say, "Well, take the morning off. I'll make soup." Not because I want soup, but I like to cut anything methodical. So I'm cutting and I'm doing
Now
it.
that sounds weird because artists are supposed to be sort of creative and not methodical, but that's a very kind of symmetrical, composed process.
Well,
Why
when
is
you're
that?
repairing something, you have to know that this is going to go here and then that's going to go there, and you're going to, you know what I mean? So you know that you have to follow some rules.
Most artists, that's strange for an artist, isn't it, to have that?
Well, all right, but I think I know why it's comforting to me. I know that I like gardening. I like I love to make things out of other things. You know, like when my children were growing up, I'd take a milk carton. We'd somehow get color on it or paper on it, and we'd make a little windmill out of the carton. Or we'd take rolled oats. You know,
Sure.
Oatmeal, and I'd make a log out of that and put candles in it. I like arts and crafts.
Really?
Yeah, so I have a good time with that. So I mean, you know, when somebody said to me, "What do you really enjoy?" and I could say, filet mignon on a yacht. It's all right, you know. But if you tell me that something needs repairing, I went to visit Mr. and Mrs. Brooks one time, Mel Brooks and his wife,
Brooks, yeah.
and their staircase was broken. Well, I'll build it. So I made them 3 steps. I was going to be there for like a week. I made them 3 steps. The steps still exist. I mean, I just love to build and do stuff like that, you know?
Okay.
So there you are.
You talked about your family. Did you bring some? I want to see the pictures of kids.
I have some lovely, I have a lovely wife, Carol. Let me just hold her against my, do you see that?
I've met Carol. I don't know how, 30 years she's been with you.
She's been with me about 29 years, right?
Now, how did she do that?
I don't know how she survives that. I tell you the truth, I think I'm difficult because I'm a compulsive person. I'm loud. I sing in the house as if I'm taking a shower.
Does she live somewhere else? I mean, she actually
lives in the same house with me.
Does she?
But we're both Leos, interestingly enough. There's our little new grandchild.
Right. Zoom
There's
right
David.
into that. Don't worry about it. There you go.
Peter, Michael, David. My wife is
Right.
wherever the hell she is.
This is your whole...
My whole mishpucha. Here's
Okay.
me. That's my wife over here.
Right.
Now, I feel very fortunate that if you ask me what it is that has kept me from becoming a vegetable,
Right.
it's this family. Here's my little granddaughter. Oh,
Wow.
Now that's me with a blonde wig on.
Yeah, it looks like you.
No, that's Nancy Russo, really. But here's Riley, and that's my son's wife, Brigitte. If you ask me what it is in late in life that really gives you pleasure, there's something about your kids functioning. Peter, Michael, David.
Did you frighten your kids with all that yelling and stuff?
I know I did because they told me, but I thought I was loud, clear. When I'm angry, I tell them, "I don't do that. Darn, don't do that. Go to your room." You know what I mean? Then,
Did you find yourself being your father?
Oh yeah, I promised myself that I wouldn't sound or say anything like him. I promised that to myself. So I became very domestic. And a lot of mothering came out of me. But then when I got angry, I heard this voice that was me, and I was saying words that he had said. And the kids told me clearly that I was, in fact, scaring them. But you know, as much as I want to be a good parent, as much as I try with all my heart to listen and see what they might need from me, and I try to be encouraging, I'm going to make mistakes as a parent, you know. The only thing that I can do is be there for them.
What was the best thing you did for your kids?
Well, I always gave them courage to try something. For instance, when they wanted to, we would make little films at home. And I would, the Bloody Cave Brothers or Dracula, because they couldn't pronounce it correctly, or Swiss Family Robinson. And I would do films with them. But as soon as they knew how to operate that camera, I said, make films. The only thing is you can't throw them away. And when tape came out, I said, here, take pictures, you know, make recordings. And I always encouraged them to do their own thing. And I would encourage them to give me advice about what I should do with my life and then follow it.
Okay, Dom DeLuise, we'll be right back after these messages.
I don't know if this is going to work, but I sure am squeezing it as hard as I can. I have a feeling that my fingers are going to be glued to this.
Now,
This is going to be fun.
How did you know what part went where? I mean, that's
Well,
the hard part.
there was a little, the paint was,
Oh, it matched.
yeah, disturbed. So I put the paint where it
Where
wasn't.
okay, well, that's very good.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see
We'll
what
see if
happens.
that's any good. Now, how long does this glue take to dry?
I would say that it's done. This is one of those things where if you had an elephant, you could glue it to itself and stick it on the ceiling. If you take this and put it on an elephant's back and take the elephant and just push him to the ceiling,
He'll
stick
stay
to
up
the
there.
ceiling. Absolutely.
That's amazing.
There you go.
Ta-da!
Now that's
Very
the
good.
ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life, but there you are. So if you need anything else done,
Okay, well, we'll have you come over for a week
there it
and
is.
fix the
It's
stairs.
raining on the lady. Okay.
All right, let me go back to, let me see the children's book.
I did a thing called, I've written a couple of books. Eat This, It'll Make You Feel Better as a cookbook. Then I wrote Charlie the Caterpillar, and then I wrote my version of Goldilocks. Interestingly enough, when Goldilocks, this is by Simon & Schuster re-released, when Goldilocks, that's my signature.
Hey!
And that's something flamboyant. But when Goldilocks gets
Now,
to
what
the,
would a handwriting analyst say about that? Show that signature. What would a
you
handwriting...
think I would know? First of all, it may look as if I'm looking for
Love.
approval. Approval.
love.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Well,
maybe
to
a
me
little
it
bit
looks
love.
like-
But when you make a little face like that, you're saying, "Please like me. Please like the little boy that lives in me." You know what I'm saying?
that-
You know, I'm not just writing my name.
Right.
On a check, I write a name like that. Give me the money. But here, it's please give me. Look, I'm just saying, please love me. It's a plea. It's a plea. What are you going to do? I mean, I thought I was going to grow up.
And it never happened.
Yeah, forget about it.
Matter of fact,
Yeah.
you're younger today than when I met you 30 years ago.
Here you go.
Yes.
Anyway, when
Which
she
is
gets
good.
to this is Goldilocks. It's all very sweet. When she gets to the house and there's porridge, you know.
Yeah.
It's pasta fagioli. She eats beans and macaroni, and then she finds the bears.
Now
you know.
the bears, that's the first time I've seen one where the bears looked as scared as Goldilocks.
You know why?
Okay.
Because I said that when she woke up, she screamed. Then the baby got scared. So they are in fact. There's a moment when they are all frightened.
Everybody's frightened.
By the time they get to the front door, they're in good shape. These pictures are done very, very well by a guy named Chris Santori, and I think he is sensational.
That's fabulous.
He's a good guy. See them, running out
yeah,
really there. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah. All right, the child in you.
Yeah.
When are you the most serious?
I thought I was taller. I'm sorry.
Have you ever gotten through an entire day without getting a laugh?
Are you kidding? I get depressed. I get clinically depressed. I mean, so anybody out there who...
No, but like you go to the doctor, you go to the dry cleaners. Do you just go like everybody else and just go in and say, "Would you press these and have a nice day?"
You know
or
what
do
I mean?
you?
If I'm getting gas, I say, "Please hurry. I'm going to have brain surgery in the morning." And then the guy goes, "Ha ha." Oh, what a guy.
Yeah.
So people look at my wife and they go, "Does he make you laugh all day long?"
your
And
wife
I
is-
don't.
No, you're like.
No, she don't laugh all day long. No.
Have you been depressed in your life?
Oh, I just said it. Clinically.
Yeah, but you said clinically depressed.
Yeah,
Like where they have to give you medicine.
Where I took medicine. Yeah, I've been depressed.
And what gets you out of that?
A chicken sandwich usually helps a lot. A lot of mayonnaise, and if you cut the crust off, I go right back into a depression because I want the bread.
Why? Do you have any idea why you got depressed, or do you just clinical?
I think it's from keeping secrets. I'm not sure. I think that. As a Catholic, I don't know, you were raised a
I'm
Catholic.
not a Catholic,
Bless
but
me,
I know
Father,
you.
for I have sinned, and and he says, "I forgive you." Now that was pretty good when I was a kid. That I could survive with that. You had a thought, you ate a little hot dog on Friday, you confessed it, and you were cleansed. Somehow, if you continue living your life and you don't exactly approve of some of the things you do, you don't get cleansed, and then it builds up, and then I'm telling you that the 14 steps, the 12 steps rather, the AA program.
Sure.
There's a 9th step in there where you ask people to forgive you, and then you also have a chance to spew a lot of the things that you've done that you're sorry about, and it helps. It helps to relieve you. So I think that without that opportunity, as a grown-up, because I don't go to confession anymore, unless you
No, we can do it
you
here.
got a minute.
No.
But that's what it was. I really feel that is a big part of my life. That it was very, very important to me.
Did you always have the problem, or did you just as an adult, did it sort of get worse and you got into really clinical depression? I mean, did you know you were depressed as a child, or did it just sort of come
No,
on?
it didn't come out as a child. It came out when I got to be, I was in my late 20s. Was the first time it happened. It happened a few times. And I'll tell you the truth, it's not, I would be ashamed of it. Now I'm not ashamed of it, but I would be ashamed of it like 10 years ago. If you asked me, I would say,
Yeah, well,
no
you couldn't
problem.
today. It's okay to get that stuff.
Yeah, you can actually say this.
Have you forgiven the people in your life who did things like your father terrified you?
What an important question that is.
Have you actually forgiven your father for what he did?
Absolutely. You know why? Because he lived such a long time that I started to see that he was, in fact, a very sincere man, and that he was coming from a place where he really cherished his family and me. I understood that. Not that he said, I loved you, but I saw that this lion was now toothless and harmless, you know, and I got a chance to tell him how much I loved him. When I say toothless, he happened to have his own teeth when he died. He was 82. But I could see that he was, in fact, doing what he thought was right. I once asked my father, when you misbehave, what did your father do? My grandfather. And my father said, he hit me with the wood. And I said, what? He said, he hit me with the wood. He didn't talk very. He says, if I do something bad, he'd take a wood and he hit me with it. He hit me with the wood. I said, oh my God. My father was hit, but he never hit me with wood.
Okay, we got to take a break. Yes,
well,
I do.
Right.
Dom DeLuise, we'll be right back.
I forgave him.
You did? Good.
You bet.
Okay. Actually, you enjoy doing these little things.
I do. Wouldn't it be nice if we could repair the damage in our hearts and souls and minds, like a little glue?
To each other, too.
Would be nice. That would be great. That would be great. You know, it's very important. I think it's very important to know that as a parent, you're not going to exactly get what you want from your kids. Except I must tell you that when I see my children functioning, Peter, Michael, David, 27, 22, 21, something like that. It changes every year. Two of them are working now in Florida on a show called Sequest, which is great. It makes you feel wonderful that they, you know, have a job and a
Right.
you know.
They're off your payroll.
They're off my payroll. But more than that, they have something that they want, and they're striving for.
We were talking about your dad. Tell me about that.
Well,
is that relationship now resolved?
I think about him all the time, and I also base the character I do, Dominic the Great, a magician, that everything goes wrong, no matter what trick he does, it goes wrong. I think of my father all the time when I do that. And my father is around for me because he's in my mind a lot. I go to a shrink, you know, and I talk to the psychiatrist. And
do you do jokes in the psychiatrist? Are you funny in the psychiatrist? Is there a kind of voice? Are you feel obligated to entertain the psychiatrist a little bit?
No.
You don't?
No, if I'm crying about something that happened to me as a child, which I have done, I don't care if he's
okay. I mean,
you're
laughing.
Not just, I make jokes.
I know guys who go to psychiatrists and they say, you know, I've wasted 3 years. I think I'm on a talk show, and I go in and I do.
There you go. But you do have a knack for saying things that are painful and putting a joke at the end of it in life. But if you're smart, you won't use that kind of stuff up when you go to the shrink.
Are we becoming more depressed as a country? Shouldn't we lighten up a little bit in this country?
Don't you? Yeah, but look at the news. I mean, the news is so depressing.
Yeah, it's bad.
You know, and the law and the police and how people survive. I mean, you remember when you got real excited because, I don't know, it was your birthday? There's something very simple. Now, everybody wants everything immediately. You know, they want gratification immediately. They don't want to pay for it. They're not responsible for anything they do. They want to pay for anything that they do. If you look at the news now, that you see these lawyers, they're so clever that the police, 17 police beat up on one guy and they're innocent, and somebody who knows what does, some sort of horrendous murder, and you're seeing how cleverly can you get
the Menendez
around
brothers
it.
got off because the jury said, well, they're not out yet, but I mean,
Yeah,
they said they killed their mother, and the jury said, no, he didn't.
Yeah, we don't think that they're guilty, right? So I am confused about the world today and the values. It mixes me up.
It's lawyers.
Well, the lawyers are, listen, lawyers are very valuable, I guess, to have around.
If you're in trouble, yeah.
Did you hear about the thing that happened? There was the fence between heaven and hell broke down.
No.
And St. Peter came there, and the devil came there. And St. Peter said, you have to fix this. And the devil said, you fix it. And St. Peter said, if you don't fix it, I'm going to sue you. And the devil said, where are you going to get a lawyer?
That's very good.
Poor lawyers have it. They really
do have it.
it.
The lawyer jokes are tough. They are tough. I mean,
I would like something simpler. So, I have a house in Vermont. My wife and I love Vermont. Now, I know a family. They go fishing. Did you go fishing? Yes. Ask the father and the son. Did you have a good time? Yes. Did you catch any fish? No. How long did you go fishing? 2.5 weeks. They had enough fish. They ate some fish. But I mean, don't you want to do things that are very simple, that are not complicated? I've got to get to New York in 2 hours. Now, you know what I mean?
Right,
Everything, yeah.
right.
So the world's a little too fast for me.
well, you seem, you're so full of life and energy and everything. Do you ever just like veg out completely and sort of?
No, I don't veg a lot. I mean, sometimes in the middle of a sentence, I may fall asleep. I may say, something, I can do that. But most of the time, I'm excited about life. I mean, I really.
Are you happier today than you've ever been, or no?
No. I wouldn't say that. No, happy. I don't know. I'm okay. I'm realizing that I'm 60 years old.
You're worried about your health. People look at you and say, he's heavy. Now, I know some people could say that to me, but I mean, I was thin as a child, and as you see, I've maintained that, and so it's not a big worry.
Well,
Everybody I meet says, I'm worried about your heart. I mean, they're worried about my heart. Are you worried about your heart?
I sure I am. Yeah. Look, I would be stupid to say that I think it's okay to be this heavy. I would rather not be. I'm a vegetarian now, unless I have stuffed cabbage or a hot dog.
Let's get an expert in on this.
Oh, this is yes, Paul Savino.
Paul Savino. He's going to do my next half hour with me, but I'd like to. We got 2 minutes here together, and since you guys love opera,
we chipped in and got you this.
Full of honor is my love, darling Rosalina.
hey, that's now,
He has a great dramatic tenor voice, no fooling around.
now could he? But
He could have been a great dramatic tenor at the Metropolitan Opera.
Really?
Tremendous voice, absolutely. Beautiful voice, beautiful
why did
quality.
you not pursue the music?
Because people were laughing at me when I was doing drama. You know what I mean?
This guy's one of our most talented guys.
I know he is.
Benevolent, sweet, talented,
sweet.
bright
Yeah.
guys in the business. He's just a wonderful, wonderful guy.
What's the difference between? I'm sorry because
I'm
I'm not musical in this sense,
Yeah.
but what's the difference in your voice? You're a tenor. You're a
We're
tenor.
the same voice almost.
Almost. That's what
Yes,
it sounded
very
very much the
similar
same.
quality. Very
Look,
similar.
I will not. You sing and I will just mouth.
Okay. Good.
You'll never know the difference.
the
Watch
difference.
this. He's going to
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Now you
I
do
didn't
it.
know
Now
you
you
felt
do
like
it.
Yes,
Now
go
you
ahead,
do
go
it.
ahead.
Here.
Sherry and lamb chop. I didn't know.
Una passione più forte una catena e dice in cielo vuia che non mi scorda mai.
All right, now wait. We have
Look,
15
I'm
seconds to. We have 15 seconds to commercial. Do it together now. I want to hear that together. Do something.
Yeah.
Te voglio bene assai, dici in cielo vuia che non mi scorda mai.
This is two tenors.